All right. Happy Friday, everyone. We made it this far. All in all, it's been a pretty decent week of weather. Unfortunately, things are starting to change as we go through this afternoon, also through portions of the weekend too. But it's 10:30. Glad you're with us for a Weather Extra. It has been a pleasure having all of you with us for the entire week. Looking forward to my weekend. 2 whole days off. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Going to play some golf. Tomorrow morning, hopefully before the storms come in. Might be an abbreviated round, weather pending, of course, as we are tracking maybe 1 or 2 rounds of strong to severe storms as we go through the day Saturday. But today and your Saturday, 48 first alert weather days. Have plenty of updates coming up on Tennessee Valley Living, our newscast at noon. Brad will be with you as we go through the afternoon and evening newscast too. So Donna, good morning as always. It might be our most loyal Weather Extra viewer as of right now, unless someone will dethrone you. But yes, we appreciate you joining us every single Weather Extra. We do appreciate it. And yeah, let's start talking about the weather. So we got a lot to cover today. First alert weather day. Things are quiet right now. Very uncomfortable as far as that humidity goes. Our dew point in the 70s. That's that summertime humidity, and all that moisture, of course, going to be the fuel for the strong to severe storms we have developing as we go through the afternoon and evening. And this is what we've got going on. A couple pop-up storms there in western Kentucky out toward Paducah. A couple storms popping up west of the Nashville metro area. And what we have there through parts of Missouri into Arkansas, that's actually kind of the leftover of the severe storms that we had out in the plains overnight into this morning. Had severe thunderstorm watches out in Oklahoma this morning. Those watches have not been extended as these have kind of fizzled themselves out. But I anticipate the showers to keep on going. And then the farther east-northeast they go, they move into that more unstable air. And then those storms could become strong to severe, just like our storm threat for this afternoon. Now, a couple changes regarding the models. The models were thinking we'd have more of that line or big complex of storms coming in. I don't see that really happening now. I think the afternoon storms we see will be more individual and cellular in nature. Now, they'll still pack a punch. They could be strong to severe. I just don't think it will bring us as much of a widespread threat. Now, some models are actually showing kind of that line of storms coming in maybe overnight into tomorrow morning. So something we're watching. The models, they do their best to get a grasp on this weather pattern, but it's very difficult to forecast for us as much as the models too. And you know, we kind of get these waves of storms coming in, and that's what we're going with the forecast as we go through the weekend. So Friday and Saturday, maybe into Sunday early morning. Biggest threat with this going to be the threat for damaging straight line wind gusts, potential severe wind gusts, 60 plus miles per hour. Even those non-severe winds could knock down some tree limbs, tree branches, potential power outages associated with this. Heavy rainfall, not so much a flooding threat today, but I think if we do see 1 or even 2 rounds of storms tomorrow, your Saturday, that would be the day with the greatest concern of seeing some isolated flash flooding. We'll talk about rainfall totals coming up. I think we're going to see some hail, maybe not necessarily severe 1 inch in diameter or larger hail, but I think we're going to run into some hail as we go through the weekend. So maybe think about your vehicles and clean out a spot in the garage potentially, as we could see a couple storms producing hail. And then this is a big one here. I've been really stressing it lately too. It's the threat for frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. We're in June now. These summertime storms are incredibly electrical, and it won't always take that severe storm to produce cloud-to-ground lightning in a high frequency. So that is something that is so important. Lightning safety imperative here this weekend. A lot of people out on the lakes. If you're on the lake, you hear thunder, see lightning, time to bring it in. Same thing if you're camping, don't want to be in a tent if you have a storm producing a ton of lightning too. So if you have camping plans, just know near your campsite where the safest structure is, where you could shelter if needed. If there is a severe storm, a storm with wind, lightning, and hail, hail is not going to be too kind to your tent. But our storm timeline for today, now that we're not tracking a big line or cluster, it's a little difficult to give you that kind of time frame, that timeline graphic. But I can show you this, that we're just expecting the strongest storms to develop through the afternoon and evening. This will be the hottest, most humid part of the day when our atmosphere is most volatile and unstable. And before these storms develop, we are going to have a heat index, probably 95 to maybe up to 99 degrees. So this will be the hottest, most humid day we have seen so far this season. So let's get right to it. Don't anticipate much storm development as we go into the noon hour, but the later we go afternoon, now you start to see these individual cells and clusters popping up, and this is kind of favoring right over Guntersville with HydroFest activities going on. But these storms, they'll be more hit and miss, not a widespread threat, so there's actually no guarantee that you see one of these strong to severe storms over your house, over your backyard later today. Can't stress that enough. Now, this is where I'm talking about some uncertainty here, because not all models are showing it. I would look at this. This is the North American, the NAM model. Now, this is bringing in that kind of cluster or line of storms late this evening, potentially overnight too. And these storms could be strong to severe with that wind, hail, and lightning threat. I think we see a break tomorrow. As promised, parts of your weekend will be dry. It won't just rain and storm from start to finish. But even though we start off dry tomorrow, look what happens as we go to mid to maybe late morning. Now we've got our first complex of storms coming in from the west. Now remember, the models yesterday were saying this is what the radar would look like today. That's not going to happen, but it does show the potential that we see this big cluster or line complex of storms coming in from the west. And this would be right around noon. Now we're looking at that threat for strong to severe storms, but the model says, but wait, there's more. Billy Mays style coming in from the west, a potential second cluster or line complex of storms coming in for the late afternoon and evening period. This would also be strong to severe in nature with the wind, hail, and lightning threat. So you're kind of seeing a trend. It almost is like we have these train tracks and these storms just continue to stay on those tracks, pushing right over us here in the Tennessee Valley. So there are some questions. Models will update. They might change a little bit, but right now thinking we might see 1, 2, maybe even 3 rounds of storms as we go through Saturday. Looks like we go through the overnight. Now this run has backed off on the potential for a big cluster coming in overnight. It actually keeps it a little farther south, something we'll be watching. I think Sunday morning, showers and storms possible for the early part of the day, but it actually turns out to be an okay afternoon, and this has been pretty consistent with the model data here too, is that we're actually dry from late morning into the afternoon Sunday, other than that chance of maybe a pop-up shower or a storm. So we, of course, will keep you updated. Again, Brad, in this evening. You've got 2 big red blinking banners there over Friday and Saturday, and that is for the threat of strong to severe storms, the first alert weather day. Sunday, I think most of the storms should be isolated mainly to the morning hours. We go out to Guntersville, great look there, beautiful day. It's heating up though, it's going to be hot and humid. Very calm conditions out on the Tennessee River there in Decatur as we look at the Marina and Hudson Memorial Bridge. Forecast rainfall, now this is obviously going to be very dependent on where those storms move across the area, but this has been pretty consistent. We could see 1/2 inch to 2 inches or more of rainfall as we go through today. Tomorrow's 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds of storms, and also Sunday morning factored in. So take it for what it's worth, just a look at what the potential rainfall is. But it's Saturday. If we do see the 2, maybe 3 rounds of rain and storms, that rainfall is going to be very heavy. If those storms slow down too, that will really increase our threat of seeing some flash flooding. All right, temperatures, look at that. Already 86 in Russellville, 87 right now in the Shoals, 87 in Athens, 85 in Huntsville. That's not factoring in the dew point. That is in the low 70s. You factor that in, now the feels like temperature in the mid 90s. So we should be right around 90 degrees or just under that for the high temperature. It depends on when those storms start to fire up, because that's going to limit our warming a little bit, just because the clouds coming in and you get some of those pockets of rain, cool there. Big cluster of storms, again, left over from the overnight stuff, coming out of Oklahoma into parts of Arkansas as well as Missouri. And I think this is what that North American model is showing, that round coming in much later tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning. Speaking of tonight, 20% chance of showers and storms. I'm probably going to have to bump that number up. Potential for some storms to be stronger overnight, but it will be warm and muggy. High confidence in that, along with some areas of fog. Saturday, mid to late morning through the afternoon, 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds of strong to severe storms. That's what we'll be looking at. And then you go to your extended forecast. Sunday, I think we'll have some dry hours into the afternoon, maybe watching a threat for strong to severe storms coming in Monday night into Tuesday. And just looking at some of the longer term models, that's what we're watching. And the pattern does stay kind of a bumpy ride here, even as we go into the following weekend, that being Father's Day weekend. There Sunday might be dodging some more rain and storms. So there's a lot going on. Things obviously getting a lot more active here. But I just ask, if you have outside plans, know what's going on weather-wise. If you have camping plans, know where that structure is. If you're out on the boat, have the 48 weather app. Lets you know when lightning is detected nearby. It's really a helpful tool. I know it's our app. Hey, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything other than to download it onto your phone there. Again, free. So super helpful, especially when we start getting those warnings coming out. And I am anticipating some severe thunderstorm warnings through parts of the weekend. But it won't rain all weekend. If you have plans, though, anticipate some interruptions and delays. But that's about it. I'll have a much more in-depth look at your forecast coming up on Tennessee Valley Living, as well as your newscast at noon. So have a fun and safe weekend. Enjoy it. Stay cool out there today and stay weather aware.